Hi, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. We are so excited for our second Software Engineering Tech Summit, the first of the year. My name is Isadora. I am the program manager at the European Leadership University, and I'll be hosting the summit today. So the summit is organized by European Leadership University. ELU is a university offering flexible undergraduate and master's degrees programs in tech. And we are competency based and focused on portfolio building and mentoring by experts for our students to be job ready. So you can check the website to learn a little bit more about the programs and the offers. And I will also host an info session during the summit so I can explain how it works a little bit better. So, in the summit, we'll be talking about different career pathways in software engineering and how to get started in tech. We have many experts joining us today to share their wisdom and insights. So, we'll for sure learn a lot. We're excited to have 500 registrants from 20 plus countries. We would like to make this summit interactive. So, please share your comments, ideas on the chat screen. I'm curious to know where everyone is coming from, share your location, anything. So, and also if you want to ask questions to the speakers, you can use the comment sections and we'll try to answer it at the end of the live session. There will be 5 minutes break in our program between each speaker, but you can take a break anytime you like and join us again later. So let's go ahead and introduce our first guest speaker. Her name is Obianuju Okafor. Sorry if I said your name wrong. She's a computer science PhD graduate with a background in software engineering and works as a R&D software engineer at Microsoft. So welcome.
Hi, hello everyone. Thanks for the introduction, Isadora. I'm happy to be here. Okay, so I'm gonna start with you know, some background information about myself, and then how I went from no coding experience or no programming experience to getting a PhD in computer science. I would also talk about what I do currently at Microsoft, how I got there, and why what are the advantages or benefits of being a software engineer. So I started this journey 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago. When I applied to go to college, I actually applied to study medicine. So I wanted to be a medical doctor. But as you can see, that didn't happen. Well, I am a doctor, but I'm not a medical doctor. Um, so I applied to my undergraduate university, which was Eastern Mediterranean University, a university in Cyprus. I applied for the medical program, and then I was told that they don't directly admit people into the medical program, that you had to do a science program, like any, like maybe pharmacy or biology, chemistry. You have to do one of those for a year. And then after that year, if you performed well, that is, I think the threshold was if you got like a 4.0 or a 3.8 out of 4, then you would be advanced into the medical program. And then as at then, I mean, in high school, I was smart, but this was a completely new university. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to deliver my first semester. So I was like, okay. I was admitted into the pharmacy program, and then I thought to myself, I'm not sure I am going to get that grade, and then if I don't get that grade, I'm going to be stuck in this pharmacy course for 4 years, which is not my um, initial goal. So then, right before the time to register for the semester, my first semester, I spoke with my dad, my father, and then I told him that, hey, I don't want to do pharmacy. I don't want to study pharmacy. Um, and that I don't know if I really even want to study medicine at the end of the day. And then he looked through my school's university catalog, that is Eastern Mediterranean University. He looked through that catalog and then he saw this course called software engineering. And then my two brothers, because I have two older brothers, they were both studying something similar. One of them was studying information and computer technology, and the other one was studying computer science. So my dad knew that this software engineering course was probably similar to those courses. And then he advised me to enroll in that course. And because that was the direction that the world was going in, because as you know, like tech is a very important aspect of the society today. So he advised me to study that course. So I took his advice. On the day of enrollment, I enrolled into the software engineering course. So that is how I initially found myself studying software engineering. And then when I joined my first semester, I didn't have any programming experience at all. So I struggled a little bit because remember, I was on a path to study medicine and not software engineering. So my first semester in the software engineering course, I struggled a bit because I didn't have any programming experience. And a lot of people in the course had programming experience from high school, but I had none. So it was a bit tough for me. I tried my best, but that semester I definitely could have done better. And then when I went home for the summer, because I started in spring, when I went home for the summer, I shadowed a software engineer for the summer, and then he was able to teach me a lot of the important programming concepts. It's really practical stuff like how to create a website, how to add pictures to a HTML page, how to create a form. So at the end of that summer, I was able to create a simple website with pictures of my favorite celebrities. I remember I had a picture of like Beyonce and my website, my webpage. So getting that hands-on experience, I became more interested in programming. Like I understood it because I had practical experience. So the next semester, when I went back, I didn't struggle as much. Actually, I became better. I became better than I was before. And then because I was better, I was also practicing more because I had more interest in it. And the more I practice, the better I became. So like coursework, assignments, exams, they became much easier for me than it was the previous semester. So that was how it happened. Each semester I kept on getting better, better, better. And then by my last semester, I actually graduated the best in my class. So my university gives an award to the person that graduates with the highest cumulative grade points average. And then I was the best in my class in the software engineering department. And then I got an award. So that was a very proud moment for me because I had started not even knowing I wanted to study software engineering. I wanted to study medicine, and then I happened to find myself in this software engineering course. It was a bit tough for me at first, but then I kept on going. I could have quit. I thought about quitting a lot of times, but no, I decided to keep going, and I am so glad that I did because I wouldn't be where I am today if I had quit my first semester after finding programming really hard. So yeah, so I graduated best in my class. And after graduating from my undergraduate degree in software engineering, I wanted to further my degree. I wanted to get a master's. But this time around, I wanted to expand my knowledge. I didn't want to just get a master's in software engineering again. I wanted to get a master's in computer science because I felt like computer science was broader and I wanted to diversify my skill sets from application development, web application development to, other aspects of computer science like cybersecurity, machine learning, artificial intelligence, algorithms. So I decided to apply for I applied to multiple schools. I applied to schools in Europe. I applied to some schools in the UK. I applied to schools in America as well, and then I had an offer from the university I graduated from. for a master's in computer science. So I was accepted into the master's program in computer science at the University of North Texas. It is a school in Denton, Texas, which is Denton is a city in the Dallas Fort Worth area. So I was accepted into that program, and then a professor reached out to me, which ended up being my supervisor. She reached out to me and she said that your cumulative grade point average from your undergraduate degree is very good. Also, your GRE. So GRE is a graduate exam, so it's an exam you take to go into graduate school. So she said that my CGPA, which is my cumulative grade point average, was very good, and my GRE test scores were very good. And she asked me if I wanted to switch from the master's program, which I was accepted, into a PhD program in computer science. And then as an incentive, obviously, as an incentive, I was told that the program would be funded, so I wouldn't have to pay out of pocket. I had I had planned on getting a PhD, but I wanted to start with a master's first. But when this opportunity presented itself, I decided to take it because, hey, I was always going to get a PhD eventually. So why not do it all at once? So that was how I went from an undergraduate degree in software engineering to getting admitted into the master's program in computer science at the University of North Texas. And then changing that into getting a PhD in computer science at the University of North Texas. So, in May of last year, I graduated with my PhD after 4.5 years. The entire program was pretty great. I learned a lot of concepts that I didn't know before. Like I had a lot of machine learning. I took machine learning courses, artificial intelligence courses, programming languages courses, analysis of algorithms, data mining. Cybersecurity. So I was able to take a lot of different courses that were different from the ones that I took in my undergraduate degree. I was also able to perform several internships. I did an internship at a research scientist internship at IBM. I did UX research and development internship at Salesforce. I did a software engineering internship at Macy's. So while in the PhD program, I was also able to get hands-on experience by with these internships. And by the end of my PhD program, after graduating, I received an offer from Microsoft, a software engineering position on a research and development team, and that is what I am currently working on right now. Before I go into more details about what I actually do at Microsoft, does anyone have any questions for me? Any questions before I go into more details? Not yet. Okay, great. So, yeah, so like I said, I graduated with my PhD in computer science from the University of North Texas in May of 2022. I received an offer from Microsoft, a software engineering position on a research and development team. And then I started at the end of August of 2022. So I've been at Microsoft almost 6 months now. I work on the data SQL team. Um, and in that team, we work on Power BI. Power BI is a data analytics application. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but it's an application where you can visualize your data. You can interact with different data sources and then visualize your results and use that to analyze the data. And then I'm also working on some another application called Data Mart. Data Mart is a way to store your data and then use it in Power BI. And then I am working on a variation of Power BI that hasn't been released to the public yet, so I can talk about it. So yeah, that is what I currently do at Microsoft. I also collaborate with research teams at Microsoft, working on making applications more accessible. Um, And then what else do I do on a day-to-day basis? I would say I have at Microsoft. I would say I start the day checking my emails. After checking my emails, I usually have a meeting in the morning, and then after my meeting, then I after my group stand up meeting, then I start whatever task that I have, either look at a bug or work on a feature. And then, yeah, and then we have, sometimes we have talks that have been organized, which we attend. And some other times I do one on ones with other people at Microsoft just to get to know them and what they're working on. Now, which brings me to the next part, which is why you should be a software engineer. I think there are many different reasons why you should be a software engineer. The first one is it's profitable. I mean, especially in this economy, it's very remunerative. So you get paid pretty well as a software engineer, regardless of what company you are at. You get paid well. Another thing is you're at the forefront of technology. So you're always working on something that is next level, cutting edge, which is very interesting. You get to work on very innovative technologies and applications. And that is very interesting. And then seeing your applications get used on a day-to-day basis, so actually looking at the impact of your work, it's also very fulfilling. So there's a lot of fulfillment. You're paid decently well. You're working on cutting edge technology, which is very interesting. So you're always motivated. Also, it's fulfilling because you can directly see the impact of your work. You can see people using your applications. I remember in my PhD program, I worked on a programming application that allows people with um, visual impairments and people with motor impairments. It allowed them to write program, and then see the effect of this. So we conducted tests on this application with our participants, and seeing the direct impact of this was very fulfilling. You're also helping society. Like the world revolves around technology. This application that we're using right now. Was created by a software engineer. Google was created by a software engineer. Zoom, Facebook, a lot of things. Everything requires technology. Your TVs, the apps, Netflix, Hulu, your fridge, your thermostat. Like a lot of things require technology. So I'd say that you're at the forefront of technology. You're helping the society, you're impacting the lives of people on a day-to-day basis, and also you're getting paid well. So I'd say that those are some reasons for becoming a software engineer. And then I'd like to ask if anyone has a question. Does anyone have a question for me? Oh, great. That's a nice question. What is the difference between software engineering and computer science? So yeah, I would say that first of all, software engineering is more um concentrated. So software engineering is a branch of computer science that deals with developing web applications. So computer science is like a broader, like it's like a broader term. It has more aspects. So computer science deals with theories, and how to solve problems, basically using theories or like using algorithms. While software engineering is a subcategory of computer science that deals with creating web applications, or creating technology, developing technologies. But computer science also relates with other concepts, not just web application development or mobile application development. You also have machine learning. Machine learning falls under computer science. Artificial intelligence falls under computer science. Data mining falls under computer science. Cybersecurity falls under computer science. Memory, a lot of different concepts. So computer science just relates to the it relates to how you can use technology to solve And by technology, I mean like obviously the use of computers to solve a lot of problems. While software engineering is more niche and is more concentrated and it relates more to application development. And which was one of the reasons why I wanted to diversify my skills by getting a graduate degree in computer science, because I wanted to get hands-on experience on different aspects of computer science and not just web application development and or application development as a whole, not just web. And then this also served me well because I was able to get like different internship. I know I did um at IBM, I worked on the machine learning team as a research scientist. I conducted research there. Also at Salesforce, I also worked on a machine learning team. I did user experience research. So that is user UX research. I did UX research there. At Macy's, I also worked on a machine learning team. So I would say diversifying my skill set has allowed me to work at different roles at different companies. So that is an advantage of computer science, is that you get a a broader knowledge about different concepts and not just one. As a software engineer, what can you say about the environment at work, Microsoft, IBM? Do you feel overwhelmed with tasks assigned to you, and how do you get to free yourself from burnout? That's a good question. I'll say the working environment at those two companies are very good. I really enjoyed my time at IBM, and I'm currently enjoying my time at Microsoft. As a software engineer, so I wasn't a software engineer at IBM. I was a research scientist intern. So my day to day was a bit different from what it is at Microsoft, but they're pretty similar. Um, Also, the working environment is great. Everyone is really smart and everyone is working on really important things. And everyone is always willing to help, which is a big thing, which is one of the things I really like about these two companies, is that everyone is always willing to help. So even when you feel overwhelmed, because when you join a company, certainly companies like Microsoft and IBM that have existed for years, I think they existed even before I was born. So joining companies like that, when you join, it can get overwhelming because there's a lot of things you have to onboard. You have to catch up with the technology. You have to learn what technologies that you're using, the programming languages. So it can be overwhelming at first, but I'll say that like what my manager or the people on my team tell me is that everyone goes through it. They don't expect you to join the team and start excelling immediately, because everyone, at least for like 3 to 6 months, you're just learning, right? And they're pretty understanding about that. Almost every company is pretty understanding about that. That when a person joins a team, they're not gonna start performing tasks or being 100% productive the first time they join. They need to learn the technology, they need to learn the environment, they need to interact with their coworkers. So I'll say like you feel overwhelmed, but it's expected to feel overwhelmed. No one expects you to join and become an expert on your day one. There's a lot of grace that is going to be given to you to learn, and then eventually or gradually become productive. So that is fine. You're going to feel overwhelmed, but it's expected. Everyone goes through it. So just be patient with yourself. That is what I would say. And then how do you free yourself from burnout? I'll say um creating a good work life balance is how I try to avoid burnouts. And by that I mean, um right now I'm working from home, so it's pretty easy to have a blurred line between your work and your life. So what I'll say is I as much as possible, I try to delineate the two. So I have a fixed time for work and then a fixed time for myself. And then after that fixed time that I have for work, then I handle my other task or things, personal stuff that I have to do. And I'll say that's one thing I've done to avoid burnout, is to be very specific or to draw a clear line between work stuff and personal stuff, and making sure that I make time for both and that I'm not sacrificing. Obviously, it's gonna be hard to, like, especially working from home. It's kind of hard to, like, separate the two, but I try as much as possible to separate the two. Make sure that I'm giving myself enough time. I'm taking my breaks, because you have a break. You work an 8-hour shift, and then you usually have a break. Making sure that I take my break, making sure that I also do other things within the company. Like, at Microsoft, I'm part of an organization called BAM, which is Blacks at Microsoft, and they also do events. They do events. Apart from Blacks at Microsoft, I'm also part of some mentorship circles. So in those mentorship circles, you interact with other people at Microsoft. You talk about your experience with them. They give you advice. You can ask for advice. You can also get assigned to a mentor. So where you meet with them one on one. So I'll say not just focusing on work, but making sure that I'm also interacting with other people at Microsoft, sharing my experience, listening to their own experience, and just involving myself with other aspects of work that is not just performing my task. That is another way that I don't get overwhelmed, because or burnt out, because if I'm just working 8 hours a day, and I'm not 7 days 5 days a week, and I'm not interacting with other people at Microsoft, I'm not attending events, I'm not attending this communities, or I don't have these communities, or I'm not part of this mentorship circle, I can get burnt out easily. So, like, involving myself with other organizations within Microsoft that don't necessarily have to do with my job role, making sure that I separate my personal stuff from my work stuff, and giving each of them the time that they need. I'm also I would say that another way that I don't burn myself out is also having other interests outside of work. I like to travel, so I try to travel as often as I can, like at least once or twice, or 3 times a year. I try to travel, take a vacation for myself. I also like fashion, so I like to, like, shop, dress up and things like that. So yeah, those are some other things that I do not to burn myself out. Is I have other interests outside of work that I can use to let's say reset myself, so that next time when it's time for work, I can fully pay attention. So another question is, how does one transition from a biological postgraduate in bioinformatics and computational biology to an MSc in data science or computer science? Um, hmm. Let's see. I'm gonna try to answer it as much as I can, but bear in mind my background is software engineering and computer science. So I can only say what I would think you can do, not what you can do, because I haven't gone through that path yet. So I would say a good way is, I think there's a master's course called um MIS, Management Information System. I know that that course is not core computer science. Like, there are other courses that you take. There are other courses that you take within that program that you can take data science. You can take some other business courses as well. It's not heavily focused on computer science. So what I would say is going for courses like that are not heavily that are not very technical, because what I would say, going through the computer science program is, it's very technical. So if you didn't have a computer science background at all, in your undergraduate degree, you might struggle. It is not unheard of. You can do it, but it's going to be tough to go from it's going to be a bit tough to transition from a biological postgraduate. Wait, let's see, computational biology. It might not be that hard. Actually, thinking about it, if you have programming experience, so what I would say is, if you have programming experience, switching to a MSc in data science is not going to be tough, because if you have programming experience, you can easily pick up Python. That is, if you don't already do Python. Um, if you don't already program in Python, you can pick up Python pretty easily, and that can help you switch into the data science route. Now, going the computer science route, it's gonna be tougher. You just have to do a lot of work because you have a lot of years to catch up on, and going into a PhD program in computer science or a master's program in computer science, it helped me a lot that I had an undergraduate degree in software engineering, because a lot of the concepts were similar. But I can see if I didn't have that undergraduate degree in software engineering, I might have struggled. So my advice would be going more in the data science route, picking up Python, learning how to work with notebooks. Um, um, there's a Jupyter notebook. There's a collaboratory notebook by Google. Pick up Python or R. Also see how you can apply Python or R to a lot of the computational biology problems, because right now, sorry, I'm gonna wrap it up, but right now in healthcare, technology is very important. So I'll say finding a way to blend the two together and not just going from one to the other would also be advantageous. I know that companies like Pfizer, Johnson and Johnson, they hire a lot of people like data scientists, right, that have knowledge in computational biology, and then you can use that knowledge of data science to solve a lot of problems in the healthcare field. So I'll say pick up Python. That is number one. Learn Python if you can. Learn how to use notebooks, learn how to feed data into the notebook and use Python to analyze that data and visualize the data. And yeah, you should be fine. It shouldn't be so hard to jump from a computational biology background to data science. I know there are a lot of programs that you can do that with going from computational biology to computer science is going to be a little bit tougher, because computer science is very technical, and it's very like it has a lot of maths. That's another thing. So if you don't like maths, it's going to be harder for you. But with data science, you don't have it's not as technical as computer science. So I would say going more in the data science route, and a lot of programs allow for people to go from computational biology to data science, because a lot of companies these days, a lot of health or biotech companies these days, they use data scientists. So yeah, that would be the route I would go in.
Thank you so much for sharing everything with us. It was a
Yeah,
pleasure
thank
listening to
you.
everything you had to say. Um, so now